Big Guy Fitness Daily Journal, day 33. This is my first walk of the day. The videos that I already posted for shorts, the music listening of the day, daily question of the day. I started out saying day 23. I don't know why I'm walking backwards, but it's definitely day 33 because yesterday was, I said it was, holy crap, we're already into a full month of this. So anyway, yeah, today's main topic is going to be creatine. I'm starting to get into this. Haven't used any supplements in my weight loss or muscle building journal. I've been watching a lot of information on it, trying to figure out what the best stuff to buy is. Creatine's really cheap, inexpensive, so under 20 bucks you can get a 70 to 100 servings, whereas if you go for protein, whey protein, especially isolate, which is more expensive, I mean, you're going to be paying between 40 and 60 bucks at least for maybe 30 servings, 27 servings. Yeah, so I know they're two different things. Protein is feeding your muscles so that they can build. Your body needs protein. You can't get enough protein generally, and especially after 50, we need more than 1 gram per body weight. So if you're 170 pounds, you usually need closer to 1.5 grams of protein. So we're talking over 200 grams of protein, which is a lot. I mean, if you eat tuna fish, you're in the 30 range of protein, 30 grams. If you eat salmon or a piece of steak, maybe you're in 30 to 40 grams. You get little things here and there. I mean, you can get to 120 pretty easily if you're eating solid meals, but from solid food sources without supplementing with protein. I mean, even if you throw in Greek yogurt, you get another 18 to 20 grams there. It's very hard to get to that 200 gram mark. So protein powder's a great thing, but the problem is it's pricey. So if you're going through this stuff, and a lot of times people use more than just 1 serving per day. So that means you're at, if you have 27 servings for a $70 thing of protein, you're basically getting 15 days out of it, less than 15 days. So you're definitely spending $200 on protein each month. And then you throw in the other supplements if you're doing that, which I'm not. But the creatine, back to that, is interesting to me because it's very inexpensive. You can get a good amount of 70 to 100 serving creatine powder for anywhere between 20 bucks, 25, 30 bucks, something like that. So that's like 2 to 3 months worth of creatine, because they say you should only really use about 5 grams, and that's usually what a serving is in these things. There's a whole bunch of things talking about front loading with 20 grams for a couple weeks. Creatine can be hard on the stomach sometimes. I mean, if anybody's interested, just ask me. There's a bunch of information I found out, which is really useful. But there's also some little scammy things happening. So apparently, Creatine Gummies, gummy chews, have become really popular over the course of last couple years or something. And I guess it's, instead of using the powder, and it's hard to mix sometimes, and it doesn't, taste chalky a little bit. A lot of people are going to these gummies, and the gummies are funny because, they say 5 milligrams or grams or whatever, and it's coming out that people are doing tests on these things, and a high percentage of them have less than 1 gram. Some of them don't have any trace of creatine in it. So these things aren't reviewed by the FDA. They're, and a lot of companies do these independent third party. They have markings on their containers for independent third party approvals, and for different aspects of the supplements. But there's a lot of them that don't do it, or they'll do a fake, not a fake, but they'll do something that's not really an independent thing. Like they'll have this logo that looks like an athlete, and it's saying approved, so it looks like independently approved, but it's not. So yeah, it's something you got to really pay attention to. Otherwise, you've just thrown away money. So I'm curious, in the question of the day today. If you guys watched that video, I'm curious if anybody has experience with this. If you guys have good, bad experiences, if creatine's actually been helping you, if you've been using it for a month or so. They say it takes a couple weeks to kick in. The whole thing with creatine, as opposed to protein, protein's getting absorbed by the muscles. The muscles need protein to actually fuel, to build. It's like basically the muscles fuel, or food, right? So the creatine, though, on the other hand, isn't really a muscle builder, and but it's kind of, people call it like a steroid. Not that it is a steroid, but they refer to it as that a little bit, because it's an energy boost. You get this. So if you're doing a lift, and usually you can only do 50 pounds and you can only do 10 reps. Well, with creatine, they say you can maybe do a little more weight or get an extra rep or two in there, which really burns your muscles. So that's how it's actually affecting your muscle growth. And the science, the light science behind it is that I guess your cells can only hold about, they can hold 100% of this APD or ADP or something. I forget what the actual scientific cellular formula is. But you can hold 100% in each cell. And when you do a lift, this stuff gets pulled and drawn out of you. But then it regenerates pretty quickly. But it takes, a minute or 30 seconds or whatever it takes. So as you're lifting, you've lost all this, and that's why you can't do any more reps. But then if you wait a little bit, it regenerates, and then you can go back to it. Well, since your cells can hold 100%, but they generally only hold 70%, what the creatine does, it allows your cells to get filled to the 100% mark. So now you have that little extra that when you're doing your lifts, all your cells have 100% of this stuff, and you're able to do your lift more efficiently. So for an inexpensive price, especially if you have, so Costco has a deal right now, and it's like $16 for 100 servings, and so that's over 3 months worth for $16. So it's basically $5 a month. That's doable if it actually works and it gets you some gains. So I think I'm going to try it. I've never used creatine before. They say, again, you can get some stomach issues. And there's also a thing about front loading. I don't know if I just mentioned on this video or the other video, but front loading, they say the first few weeks you should do 20 grams of creatine and then come back down to 5. But then I saw a lot of videos and guys talking about that's not necessary. It really isn't. And you may get more stomach issues than anything, and blah, blah, blah. Just be patient. Do a couple weeks of 5 grams and stay on that for a long period, and you should see some huge results, or not huge, but big results. Results enough that if you're in this for the long game and for $5 a month, you might as well try and get that little extra, right? Because at the end of the course of the year, they were talking about gaining 3 pounds of muscle or something. And I think that's over the course of a year. I mean, that's pretty good if you can gain 3 pounds of muscle, or take another 6-7 months to gain that. I would opt for the $5 a month, I think. So, but the Costco one's interesting because it's a brand that it starts with an O, not Orion, but O something, and it doesn't have the certification on it saying that it's independently been tested. And I know some people have raised concerns about that on the comments at Costco, because apparently they used to have that on their label. Now they don't anymore. So it is a company that's very reputable, and they have a lot of other products, and people buy their proteins and buy all their other supplements, and they say they love this company. I mean, they get good reviews. So for $15, I think it's worth the test. See if it works. And I'd be curious what you guys think. If you guys have any experience with creatine, if it's worked for you or if you haven't really noticed any changes. And I assume the big change that you would notice is feeling a little more energy, or feeling, like I said, they call it kind of a steroid. So you'd feel more able to do these lifts that normally you wouldn't, you'd be stressing out at the end. So let me know. I'll keep posted here, see what my experience is. I think I'm going to get some today, so probably in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll have some kind of information on whether it actually does anything or not. But it doesn't feel like a big investment. That's what's good. Like I said, that protein, I'm just having a hard time getting enough protein in, but it's hard to spend $200 a month on. I'm not a bodybuilder, and yeah, I don't know. Trying to figure it all out. Money's kind of an issue. You know, LA is getting really, really expensive. The jobs are getting a little more few between. You know, it's just a crazy world right now. So an extra $200 a month is kind of meaningful at the moment. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a good day. The music listening choice of the day, some Van Halen. Check out that video in the description. Short video talking about how amazing Van Halen is, and they're kind of my go-to every week for inspired listening, especially today, the 5150 album. That was the first album I ever listened to for Van Halen, and my brother introduced me to that. Thank you, Jim. And yeah, it's then we started listening to the OU812, the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge album, went to all the concerts. But 5150 was just so fun because it was different than the earlier stuff, which I love. The Dave stuff. Guitar playing was a lot more dark. This is more poppy, but in a guitar-centric way. So for guitar players, 5150 was just an awesome album. There was so much cool, not just solos, but rhythmic ideas. He does so many special things rhythmically with arpeggiated chords, going into double stop chords. And then, yeah, on my guitar breakdown site, I've transcribed a few rhythm passages that are fun. So check that out at Guitar Breakdown YouTube channel. There's a link in the description if you want to learn some stuff. But the cool thing with that is all you have to do is pick any part of a Van Halen tune, do 2 or 3 measures, and just transcribe just that little rhythm part, because they're so different than what most people play. That's one of the things that I got kind of bored with when grunge came out. You know, it was very simple chords. It was still, I learned to appreciate it. It's still it's about something different. It's about groove. It's about the feeling and the vibe that it gives you, more than it is any one riff or guitar part. So for a guitar player, it wasn't super fun to play unless you just love to live in those grooves. But if you like riffs and complicated things and learning new ways to, almost like guitar acrobatics, if you're into that kind of complication for your fingers, yeah, things like Van Halen were exceptionally fun to play. So anyway, check that stuff out. Question of the day is creatine. Either write it here, write it in the comment, or go to that short video. I'll put a link in the description for that too. Just curious what your experience is with creatine, and I'm trying to not get scammed, and I'm trying to not waste my money. So I did about 2 days of research, and I'm probably going to do another day, and then probably go over to Costco and grab this on sale creatine powder. Anyway, hope everybody's having a great week. Hope your gains were fabulous, and I hope I'll talk to you next week. And yeah, I appreciate all the comments from everybody. It really is making this fun. A lot of them have been based on the music, but some of them have been based on the nutritional stuff. And I just love learning and absorbing and finding out other people's experiences that might be able to help mine. I'm going in and out of shade and light, so I think this camera is defocusing in weird ways. So I don't even know if the video is even working. Anyway, hope everybody has a great weekend. I will see you guys. Like and subscribe, share, all that stuff. And I will see you on the next video.